AmandaLand, AmandaLand, AmandaLand. Welcome. Good morning. It is time to get started at Views from AmandaLand. How's everybody doing? It's Monday, so, there's that. Thank you for waking up on the right side of history. Boy, do we got a lot that we got to get into. Man. How's everybody's weekend? I hope it was... I don't even know. I can't say I hope it was peaceful, because if you're paying any lick of attention, it's not peaceful. It's just not. That's just what it is. So, yeah, we've got a lot to discuss, and I've been doing a lot of reading. And a lot of watching and just trying to put pieces together, not even just for myself, but for y'all too. I mean, that's really who I be working for. I work for y'all. Oh, wow. Jonathan finally got around to watching Sinners. We love to see it. Good morning. Top of the morning to you, Reese. I'm really hot in this jacket, but I'm not going to take it off because I think it's really fly. So just want y'all to know that. Yes, Tiffany, this weather is bringing me back into the seasonal depression. I need it to lift. I just keep, trying to work through it like, it's fine. Everything is fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. To everyone over here on Instagram, please go to YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. Please come now to YouTube, Amanda Seals TV, and join us for Views from AmandaLand. This is a show that really should be watched on YouTube and as a part of our community, but also for you to hear the audio, for you to be able to see the images, etc. So if you come on over, we will welcome you in. So some quick things. Yes, they caught the Minnesota killer. If you saw his picture, which I will not be putting up here, he does look like a killer. He does. He does look like a killer. And I know that y'all are like, well, if her jacket is that fly, her pants must be too. You know it. Okay. Welcome, Kara Staunton. Kara came over from Instagram. Y'all know what to do when people come over from the other apps. We welcome them. We say hello. We welcome them into the group. All right. We welcome them into the group. So shout out to Kara and Adrena, who came over here. Adrena been over here, though. Adrena been over here. But we are here, as always, Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, bringing you news and truths by any joke necessary. Can I just say real quick? Well, maybe I'll save it for my PSA. I'm going to save it for my PSA. Let me write it down so I don't forget it. Because it really was like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yes, Rich Sly inspired you to get matching sets. I appreciate you. So if you are fearless in your fashion and you don't have a matching set, then what are you doing? They found him in the woods. He was alive with a rubber mask, and he looks more than... Yes, he does. He looks at anything. And you love how Elon Musk tried to say, like, oh, these leftists, they're so, sir, that man's roommate was like, he definitely voted for Donald Trump. Definitely. Okay? Definitely. Come on. Hey, Taranja. Like, please. Also, like, these people don't even know what a leftist is. That's the other part. They don't even know what a leftist is. They think that anyone who is not MAGA is a leftist. And it's like, no, it's not just being to the left. Okay. That's not it. It's not just being to the left. But, I was also, you know what? I was also going to talk about, that's what my PSA was. So then I'll talk about this right now. So I see y'all really still loving Obama. Let me not say y'all. I see lots of folks really still loving Obama. And I'd be like, still? And even if, like, you have an affinity towards Obama, when I see people, and when I say people, I'm talking about Questlove. I saw Questlove post something about Obama, and he was like, I've been seeing a lot of folks nitpicking Obama lately. And then I went to unfollow him, but he had already unfollowed me. So, what up, Amir? What up, Amir? But Amir never invited me to. I mean, I've known Amir for a very, very long time, but he never invited me to his little game nights in LA. I wasn't cool enough, so he probably thought I was going to show up and start talking about Palestine, which I was going to do. So he's not wrong. I don't know how at this point in this time people are still calling, like a friend of mine is still like, but Obama and Michelle are my forever FLOTUS. And I'm like, why? Like, at what point right, do we say it's more important that I come correct than stay wrong? Is it the ego that people want to stay in that before? Because I know I was in that before. I was all about that. I don't understand. It just feels odd to me to really understand, to like know things and then still be like, nah. Nah. And so, okay, actually, you know what? Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out. Y'all are still excited about who's the president? Y'all are still looking up to that role? Okay, so here we have someone named Tara who says, we never had a perfect president, but we can't hate them all. Why? What is preventing you from hating serial genociders? Why can't we hate them all? I really want to understand. Why can't we hate them all? So I see people saying, like, what did Obama do? And so one of the things, this is why I had to zoom out. Okay? Because something everyone needs to understand as soon as possible. Well, first of all, let me just say this. All of you people who came here from Instagram, should actually be quiet for at least 20 minutes. Because I see some of you all coming over here from Instagram, and I'm not even going to have to address you. The chat is going to address you. Because you already are coming over here sounding a mess. Saying things like Obama did more specifically for us. Please tell me, what did Obama do specifically for Black people? Please, somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me, yeah. Somebody tell me, yeah. Somebody. Now you got somebody in here saying this crab in a barrel mentality is crazy. Your activism doesn't go beyond your microphone. Who's Sandy? Get them out of here, please. Get this person out of here. My activism doesn't go beyond my microphone. In the words of the legendary 3-6 Mafia. Act like you know me when you see me in the streets, kid. Act like you know me when you see me at the protest. Act like you know me when I'm doing free shows, y'all. Act like you know me when I'm educating the world, y'all. Act like you know me when I'm doing this for free, y'all. Woo! Okay. Obama did healthcare. Great. Yes, it's not actually universal healthcare. Yes. I just want to point out that when you all are looking at the presidents that have come in the past, and you look at this guy that's here right now, and if you think that what he is doing now in the bad could not have been done in the good, then you are missing the plot. You're missing the plot. We are in a code, Jennifer. Yes. All the indoctrination that they do in Israel to the Israeli children, they've done here. They have taught us from day one to believe that the United States was the smartest, freest place when it's not. They have always done here this idea. They have always treated us, they have always tricked us into being against certain ideals and certain countries for no reason. So many of us have a negative connotation with race, with Russia, but we don't know why. And it's not even to say that there aren't negative connotations to be had with some places, but we don't even know why. It'll just be like, yeah, that's always what I heard. So many of us have negative connotations with socialism or communism, and we don't know why. We don't know why. We just have it because of the indoctrination. I would go to schools where you would be talking to white children, white young adults who had never met a person that was not white until they got to school. Like, this is not by accident. This is by design. And I think that's the biggest thing that I want everyone in my spaces to understand. And to start really looking into. Which is the reality that nothing that you've learned was by accident if it was coming from an institution. And when you start unpacking that, you'll be willing to go for it. Now, Leah says, okay, Obama was a great orator. He inspired many people with his presence, but that does not avail him of critique and talking about his bad choices and policies. Inspired them to do what? What did Obama inspire them to do with his presence? Aspire to be a part of establishment? He never spoke about reparations. He never spoke about police protections, about securing police protections for Black people, or just for anyone, honestly. Just like qualified immunity should be removed in general. He said we couldn't have Medicare for all because the insurance companies provide jobs. Like, what are we, like, at some point, your politics has to come beyond identity. And that is what so many of us are stuck in. the identity politics, which literally is just, oh, because they look like me. Representation is not a generic concept. So should we be proud that Clarence Thomas is on the Supreme Court? Should we? At some point, you have to ask yourself, what am I actually proud of? Because a lot of y'all look at the president like you would look at a king. And then, you say things like, we were so proud of him being the first elected Black president, he got a pass. And that was a lie, I believe. That was a lie. None of these people after Ronald Reagan were really elected. I don't believe that. No, Allison, it's not about that Obama was articulate. It's that Obama is handsome. That's what it's about. Obama is handsome. That's like, let's keep it a buck. You don't have to respect. Like, I remember I did this interview with Tavis Smiley right before the election where he was like, oh, like, do you understand how big of a deal it is that, Kamala Harris wanted to meet you? And I was like, I think that it is to the extent that someone at that level of power is paying attention to somebody that's talking on the internet. But I feel like I said to him, I feel like you want me to say that like she's a big deal. I feel like you want me to say that I should have like a certain reverence for her that I don't. I don't have a reverence for the position. I think it's a big deal in the sense that, somebody in a political position of power wanted to meet somebody who talks about them on Instagram and didn't want to actually have a real conversation. They just wanted to confront me. But I think that he wanted me to feel like I had been, kind of, how do I put it? I don't know how to word it. I don't know how to word it. But I do believe that ultimately I don't have reverence for these people in these positions because they don't do anything in those positions. It is not enough to me to just be a Black person in a political position if you are not actually of character, period. And it is a foolhardy notion to think in 2025 to still be carrying a rhetoric and a narrative that simply because somebody is not white and they're in a political position that they are going to serve the populace in a positive way. Like, that's just not practical. Okay, K-Town lady's like, I want to know what you mean. I guess I felt like he was suggesting that I should have been honored that somebody at such a high level of government wanted to meet me because they have so much power that they are somehow like exemplifying my power by wanting to be in space with me. That's, I guess, what I feel like it felt like. Ultimately, what is happening for a lot of us is an awakening of our connection to soul and spirit. And if you are connecting to soul and spirit and you are understanding the greater, deeper realities around indigenous culture, around indigenous practice, and where you extend from that, there's just simply no way that you can continue to proliferate and perpetuate empire. So you're going to challenge it. You're going to say, what are you doing different? And when people constantly suggest, well, if you have so much to say, why don't you run for office? I ask them, what office did Malcolm X hold? What office did James Baldwin hold? What office did Fannie Lou Hamer hold? What office did Nina Simone hold? What office did Ella Baker hold? What office did Martin Luther King hold? What office did Gil Scott-Heron hold? Because these are the people who have influenced me. What office did Coretta Scott King hold? And then people will say, well, you leftist this and you leftist that. Many of the great Christian leaders, Black leaders of this time, were also leftists. Like, Malcolm was a religious leader. I don't know if y'all forgot that. Yes. Coretta, Martin, Reverend Shuttlesworth. Yes. Desmond Tutu. So, just saying. Just saying. Tendo said, the office of the oracle. Yeah, I'll hold that office because that's where I can see the most. So, okay, you in here, you just wrote a whole thing in Portuguese. How? I don't understand what that says in Portuguese. This is what Portuguese sounds like to me. A mouth doing this. Rachel, listen to last night's Small Doses podcast. Small Doses bonus. You ain't never lie, Regine. I haven't even done our warm up. So we are about to do the Views from AmandaLand roll call. If you are here on Instagram, you're not going to be able to hear the music, so you're missing out. So you should go right on over here to YouTube, Amanda Seales TV, and join us. Be a part of this community. This is a community that teaches each other. And I think that is so absolutely abundantly and profoundly necessary. So shout out to my AmandaLanders. And when you come over here, make sure you let us know, I came from Instagram. Let's do it. Come on, Harry. Hey, 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 hey. Shooby dooby dooby doop 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 doop. Hey, AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're coming from. All right, y'all, make sure to welcome these Instagrammers in the chat. Let's go, let's go. AmandaLanders here to learn. Tap in and tell me where you're watching from. We got hot air, Raleigh, North Carolina. We got Reese in London. We've got Richmond, VA, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Jacksonville, North Carolina, Fort Worth, Tejas, NYC, at her desk pretending to do work. We love it, Risha. We got National City, Alexandria, Virginia, Chicago, Philly. Chi-Town is representing all up in this chat. We got Arkadelphia, Arkansas, Toledo, Ohio, Middleborough, Massachusetts, Brooklyn, Rock Island, Illinois, Oakland, shout out to Town Biz, Houston, Texas, Shreveport, Louisiana, Northern VA, DMV, H-Town, Nashville, Tennessee, San Jose, Cali, we love you back. Yeah, Lagos, Nigeria. That's some egg on my tongue. I'm sorry about that. Y'all, Mesa, Colorado. We got Newark, New Jersey, Brick City, Sugarland, Tejas, South African in NYC this year. We got Manchester, UK, Richmond, Virginia, Michigan in the thumb of the mitt, Montgomery, Alabama, East Orange, New York, Coletta and Fort Pierce, Florida, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's watching the show, Boise, Idaho, Canada, Seattle, by way of Instagram. We love to hear it. Rated Lafayette, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Dallas, Fort Worth. Hey, AmandaLanders here to learn. Thank you for telling me where you're watching from. And big up to all of our international viewers. We got Discovery Bay, Jamaica, Detroit in the 313, Buffalo, New York, Roanoke, Virginia, Bowie, Maryland, Tampa, Florida, Los Angeles, California, and Paris. Toronto, Bangkok. Wow! I think that's our first Bangkok. Right? Is that our first Bangkok? I think that's our first Thailand, y'all. Let's see. Let's go to the map. Let's go to the map and see. I think that might be our first Thailand. It is! Yay! It's our first Thailand! Wow! That's so neat. That is so neat, y'all. We are worldwide. Look at us. I'm so impressed by us. I love us. I just want you to know that I'm so dedicated to this jacket that my titties are sweating and I'm not going to take it off. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay. I'm not. I'm committed and can't nobody tell me nothing. Okay. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Yes, I still do my podcast. I've been doing Small Doses Podcast for 7 years. For 7 years. I am having a personal sauna. We'll just call it an opening of the pores. Yes, Kimberly. It's just a little moist. Just a little moist. So I want to remind you all that we are here 10 a.m. Eastern. And if you want to get more of the dope monopeness, make sure to come and subscribe to my Patreon. Excited to shout out all my Patreon folks. My Patreon folks got to see my belt test for Taekwondo live. All right? Live. That's what happens over at Patreon. Like we have the politics, and then we do the book club and whatnot, but you also get to get a peek into the life of Amanda. So I am actually going to be adopting 2 new kittens, and my Patreon is going to get to be on live when they are unveiled. So if you want to see the softer side of seals, come on over to Patreon. Okay. Come on over to Patreon. All right. So is it time for our word of the day? I think it is. And I don't know about y'all, but I watched the Pee Wee Herman documentary. It's rare that I watch a documentary and I dislike somebody by the end of the documentary. Have y'all ever had that situation before? I've never had that before. I've never had a scenario where when I started a documentary, I liked somebody, and then by the end, I didn't like them no more. So that's what happened to me when I watched the Pee Wee Herman documentary. I was like, oh, this is an annoying white man. And his daddy was a Zionist. His daddy was a Zionist. Yeah. Like literally in the Israeli Air Force, like launched it. Yeah, was at the top. Mm-hmm. Now they tried to say that he was a pedophile. I don't believe that. However, I just was like, this is an annoying person. This is an annoying white man. That's really what it boiled down to. But his daddy did train the Zios. His daddy trained the Zionists. And then when you would see his dad, you're like, oh, yeah, that's absolutely, absolutely. So, of course, today we'll be talking about what's going on in Israel and Iran, as well as Palestine. We are also going to be talking about what's going on in LA. I'm also going to talk about why you can't trust Al Sharpton. Reason number 5,262. Okay. Reason number 5,262. So we'll get into that. So I will say that Pee Wee's Playhouse was my kind of show because I'm a weirdo. So they, I was a fan, but, he was just not, I like Pee-wee. But it was more so like the actual person. I was like, because Pee-wee's Playhouse was just mayhem. Mayhem. And that's me. Mayhem. Leah Mabry said that show was for autistic children. You know what? You're right. That's exactly what that show was for. Autistic children. It's streaming on Max, Daisha. It's streaming on Max. So, it had colors and just it was all the things. Yes. My favorite. I love Cherry. I loved it. So, shout out to y'all want to watch that. What else did I watch recently? I've been watching some great Korean shows. Man, I've been watching some great Korean shows. I'm watching so many Korean shows. Netflix only shows me Korean shows now. Netflix only shows me Korean shows now. They like, oh, you done with all of it? Okay, we gonna show you all of that. So, Dear Hongrang, first of all, the men are too fine. Okay, all the Korean men on all the Korean shows, I just be like, you too. Dear Hongrang is the kind of show where you get to the 7th episode and you like, oh, we watching a whole different show now. We watching a whole different show now. The show that I've been watching for the last 7 episodes is not the show we're watching now. That's the kind of show Dear Hongrang is. One of them kind of shows. I took a picture of myself because I realized that my face had been frozen at the plot twist for like 3 minutes. And so I had to take a picture of myself because I definitely was like, yes, Fatima. Them Korean men be tall and fine. Tall with a high cheekbone. Okay. And they the indigenous folks over there, they tall with a high cheekbone. I know that folks, everybody in every culture is like, oh, our men are toxic because men are toxic. Men are toxic. But if a Korean man with either a non-toxic or a deceased mother comes to holler at me, I'll use Google Translate. I'll use Google Translate. Someone said, y'all supposed to be pro-black. I am pro-black. I want to see the elevation of black people. I want to see the empowerment of black people. I want to see all the things. I have yet to meet a black man who wants to see that from me. So if that happens, let's do it. I tried to learn Korean. My ear doesn't. It's too many. It's too many. It's like one word is like so many syllables. Thank you is 감사합니다. Also, at this point, I don't even know if we really need to do all that much talking. I got friends. I'll talk to my friends. Can we communicate in a crisis? Yeah. We'll figure it out. And to be quite honest, we don't even really need to do much communicating. Handle it. I got your back. Handle it. Annyeong. Yeah. Annyeonghaseyo. I think that's goodbye. I mean, in my belt tests, I hear, I can say like paro, which means like change. I can say abomnim, which is like master. Bow is like abomnim ke. Paro. Oh wait, Chongne. I think Chongne is bow. Chelsea said their culture is narrow. I know, Chelsea. That's why it's got to be particular. But you know who else? You know what else is narrow, Chelsea? I, as an existent person, am narrow. Because think about it. I got 3 going on 5 cats and a dog. I'm considered a leftist. I am financially independent. So all of this makes me like, I'm like, the person who gonna find me is gonna be very particular, very specific. Okay. So now am I physically narrow? No. I mean, I told y'all, I tell a joke on stage about how a doctor did say to me, Amanda, you have a very deep vagina. I was like, thank you. Is this a compliment? I feel like this is a compliment. I feel like he's telling this to me as a compliment. I feel like he's saying this to me as something that I should consider an asset. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Someone asked me, would I date a white man? In order for me to date a white man, the only thing about them that's white has to be their skin. Like even like literally their entire, like they need to have a black booty. Like literally, they need to be built. Like, you hear me? That's it. They have to literally be built. It has to be Brandon. Brandon said corn-fed. Corn-fed. Yeah. I'm not even, the obvious, I mean, y'all are like, he has to be a high-quality white. Like, to me, that's a given. That's a given. Yeah, it's like they built, yes, Kara. Like, built black. He just came out white. Like, to the point where you're almost like, is he albino? Like, you know, like you're trying to, like, you're trying to rationalize in your mind. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And there would have to be such an extensive track record. Like such an extensive track record of, yes, Swanky Angelo. Like he literally would have to be like white passing. Like that's essentially what's happening here. He's just white passing. There would have to be such an extensive track record of high quality white behavior. Is there any examples of such a man? I don't know. I haven't been looking. Because I won't take a reformed white. You can't be a reformed white. It has to have been from jump. You had to have come out the womb and it was low key like you were reincarnated in a white body to carry on the work that you had already done. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. But of course, you would obviously have to be a high quality white. Like that's a given. That's a given. That's a given. Miriam, this is the thing. Now that I am a writer, now that I am no longer in Hollywood in that way, my person's going to show up. That's going to happen. My person's going to show up because I'm no longer attached to a system and an institution that one, has me presenting myself in a way that is not my full self. And two, it just puts me in spaces with people that are more aligned with my values. I can honestly tell you that in now leaving the entertainment business, I mean, I can only name a very, 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 very small number of people that I feel like I met that had my same values. And I won't even say that I'm looking at them like they're bad people, because that's an extreme. But, you know, I don't desire fame. I'm just a star. It's just what it is. I don't seek it out. I'm not putting out like, you know, notices to the press or whatever to come for me. No. I'm a star. I'm a big energetic force. I'm a force of nature. It's just what it is. I remember when I was in college, how do I feel about Bill Burr? Bill Burr is married to a black woman, a very black woman. Shout out to Nia. When I was in college, I had a professor, an acting teacher. She was our voice. She was our speech. She was speech. Yeah, Dana. And Dana had pulled me aside and she was like, listen, you are always going to be singled out. So the sooner you grasp this, the better off you'll be. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, if you're in a room with a bunch of people talking, you're going to be the one who gets in trouble. She was like, even if you're not the loudest, you're going to be the one that gets in trouble. And I was like, why? And she was like, because your energy is a pull. Your aura is bigger. It's loud in a way that your voice doesn't have to be. So she was like, you need to eventually, like, you need to grasp that. I was like, you know that meme of the little black kid at the kitchen table. And it's true. It's true. Hey, check this out, Danielle. Don't tell me what the fuck to do. Check this out, Danielle. Don't tell me what to do. Yeah, we got a lot of news to get to. And I got a lot to get off my chest. I don't need you to keep me on track. The fuck? Danielle may need to be put in time out, Sandy or Elijah. Exactly. You're not my showrunner. I don't see you with a headset on. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. We hanging out. Whew. Sometimes people be really above their pay grade. Sometimes people be above their pay grade. Like, I really be like, so, like, I was on the bus and there was a young lady who was like, really like, she just kept like giving suggestions. And I had to say to her, I said, you know, that it's above your pay grade. And she was like, no. She's a younger person, so I understand. But it's like, sometimes I how do I put this? You have to know when you're being helpful or you're just adding to the chaos. If you got 3 people trying to figure something out, I promise you probably don't need to add anything. You probably don't. You probably don't need to add anything. If you got 3 people trying to figure something out, you probably don't need to say nothing. Like, one of the things, I don't have any thoughts on Air India Reese. One of the things when I was on Insecure, about halfway through season 2, I realized I don't need to provide suggestions. I don't need to provide suggestions. I'm not here for my suggestions. And baby, let me tell you, there are times where I would be seeing something and I'd say to myself, I know the solution to this. I know the solution to this. And I would keep my quiet. You know why? Because it's above me. Because it's above me. And if they want my input, they'll ask for it. Yeah. Yeah. But it took me a long time, you know, so I shout out to the young people finding their way. I give you license to find your way to silence sometimes. Just give your way to silence. Thank you for Patricia pointing out that we just easing in. It's Monday. We easing in. Yes. Tiara said it's Monday. Can we slip into it? Dang. Good morning. It's 11:14. Here are views for AmandaLand, your news and truths, biting joke necessary. If you are on Instagram and you want to have this show, if you want to experience this show the way it's to be experienced, then go to Amanda Seals TV on YouTube. Go to Amanda Seals TV on YouTube. Bonjour, Melissa! Bonjour! Bonjour! Okay. Elijah said, I respectfully left a suggestion in your IGDM. Respectfully. All right. I'm going to check that. I will come see you, but I'm afraid they won't let me back in this country. I'm afraid they won't let me back in this country. Someone asked, would I ever work in network TV ever again? No. No. I understand now that my purpose of going to LA was a part of my path to get me to here. So, you know, yes, impatience is a symptom of capitalism. We do need to learn how to slow down. I can't stay on 3 days a week, Jayla. I can't do it. But Jayla, if I won't be on here 3 days a week, but I'll be other places because I have to write more. I wrote a poem. Y'all want to hear the poem I wrote and posted to my my Substack? Y'all want to hear my poem? Y'all want to hear my poem I posted to my Substack? Why am I saying it like that? Y'all want to hear the poem I posted to my Substack? Sometimes I be cracking myself up. To my Substack. You know? Oh, you do want to hear it? Now, let me just say this. You need to go to Substack. Yes, bad dog. My Substack. SUH. In order for you to see the poem, you need to go to Substack. I'm not going to put it on the screen. Okay. Little Alphabet said, that sounds like Smoking Stack talking about their other brother, Substack. That's their little brother. Or they half brother, Substack. All right, this is the poem I wrote. It is called Looking Back. In the future, we'll talk about this time, and some will remember. They'll say it was everything, everywhere, all at once. Politics and power contracting and expanding, birthing both resistance and acquiescence. The middle ground, scorched earth. Some will recount. They'll tell stories of marching with pride and protest, or digitally declaring fealty to fascists, or standing by, stuck in the quickening sand of their soul's stasis. The eager listeners at their feet will trust their truth as fact, record of its merit fossilized in the spoils of the victor. Others will reflect. They'll speak of this present with a wisdom they've earned, doubt and dissonance distilled through time and days gone by, hindsight making a masterpiece of their memories. Sequences of images stretch across eras like canvas, both realistic and abstract. They are in focus. their details having been dissected through a lens magnifying the then against the now. What they remember will be based on the volume of our voices. What they recount will be determined by the narrative we define. What they reflect on will be mirrored by the efforts of our values to exist in our choices. The resistance is recruiting. So take a moment, read the poem. You're going to need to read it. Unless you're like super duper advanced, I feel like you're going to need to actually physically read it to understand the nuances and, you know, the messaging that's in there. Thank you. That's a name. Iker Better 77. Thank you. There's a lot in that poem, and it's the kind of poem. And I say this as the person who wrote it, right? Like there's some poems that you can just write the first time and it's like, ta-da. But then there's other poems that like, even as you're writing it, you're like, whoa, and then you got to come back. So if I got to come back in the writing, then you're going to have to go back in the reading. You hear me? Someone said that a long time ago, I made up a song with the lyrics, I'm off the clock, don't call me for shit. And they said that it lives rent-free in their head. And I don't even remember that. The way I be making up songs, I don't even remember that one, but I live it. Okay? Yeah, go on Substack. Go on Substack and find it. Oh, Melissa done joined y'all and giving me more work, but it's good work. I would love a book of poetry from you along with the Political Spiritual Hymns album. So that's what's going to happen. Melissa, I'm gonna put out the poems with the spiritual hymns album. I mean, with the political hymns album. And all right, y'all ready for the word of the day? Oh, we up to 633. We ain't been at 633 in a long time. We ain't been up at 633 in a long time. I probably would not get the Pulitzer, Tyndale, because I don't know if y'all know this, but the Pulitzer is basically out of Columbia University. So even if I deserved a Pulitzer, I probably wouldn't get it. But, you know, let's try and get me a Peabody, though. You know, I don't really care about awards, but, you know, our word of the day is Peroxism. Peroxism. Have we done this word before? Peroxism, a noun, a sudden outburst. Peroxism. P-A-R-O-X-Y-S-M. Peroxism. A sudden outburst. A sudden outburst. Peroxism. P-A-R-O-X-Y-S-M. Peroxism. Let's use it in a sentence. It's a sudden outburst. If you're in your car listening on the podcast, yell that sentence out. A paroxysm. My mom growing up would just randomly have a paroxysm, and it became something that I also do. Like, I'll just be like, ah! Just paroxysm. Nia said the shoe paroxysm from the reporter at the press conference lives rent-free in my mind, baby. When that man threw that shoe at George Bush, I have to tell you though, that's how you know George Bush is a good old boy. The fact that he would just be able to just lean with it, rock with it like that. LOL, Melissa says she remembers. Y'all, me and Melissa grew up together in gymnastics, so. Jamia say your mama do that? Yes. My mom, like you. So then, you know, when I was with my ex, like my mom visiting us, and you would just hear it in the other room, and he'd be like, "Is she okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a paroxysm." John C says no one witnesses paroxysms as much as Hell's Kitchen contestants. Facts. The Bad Doll said the king reacted with a paroxysm of rage, ordering immediate retaliation. Off with the heads! Oh, yay! She's 6? Where does the time go? The artist CB, is there an inherent positive or negative connotation to the outburst? With my mom, I don't know. I don't think it's negative. It's more so just like a release. It's literally like a tea kettle, just like boiling over. Desiree says, can y'all use the words in a sentence, please? Okay, Little Alphabet said, the paroxysm I experienced this morning when I read that Virginia hospitals are no longer required to provide care for unmarried women or Democrats, among others, had the family running in to check on me. Say what? Where's Rolando? Find out what? What? VCU. Somebody find me a link for that. Somebody find me a link for that. Chantrail said, I had a paroxysm while in a work meeting on Teams, and I was so embarrassed, y'all. Apparently my mic wasn't muted. Well, you know what? Let's do our own paroxysm. You know, it's Monday, okay? It's Monday, so let's do a what do they call it? What do they call it? A scream, why can't I think of the word right now? What do we call it? Why can't I think of the word? I know y'all have it. What's the word? A primal scream. Let's do a primal scream. You know, Melissa, I had to stop visiting Jeff when he said he was a Trump voter. I mean, it's obvious that he would be a Trump voter, but once he like verbally said it to me, I was just like, and this is the last time that I will be visiting my coach, Jeff Wood. That's it. All right. My autistic paroxysm of choice is my name. So my paroxysm is I will randomly just say, my name is Amanda Seales. I do this all the time. Literally. I'll just be in the house and I'll be like, my name is Amanda Seales. My name is Amanda Seales. I do this a lot. We should chat, Melissa. Yeah, I do this a lot. Or I tell my cats that they're cats. Or I tell Jordy that he's a dog. So those are other paroxysms. I'll be like, you're a cat. Or I'll tell Jordy, are you a dog? You are a dog. So basically what's happening in my house is just identifying things for what they are. You're a cat. You're a dog. I'm Amanda Seales. So let's do our primal scream. And no, I'm not going to mute myself. Instagram, you're just going to have to hear it. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. That was good. That was good. Melissa said sportscasting. Yes. I'm in here just like, the cat. So Instagram, this live is going to end in 39, in a minute and 38 seconds. So you're either going to come on over here to YouTube Amanda Seales TV, which is what you should do, or you're going to stay there. All right. Shall we get into the news of the day, y'all? That person probably left or they got real quiet. The person who had the nerve to tell me So VA doctors can deny giving you health care if you're unmarried or a Democrat? I don't even understand. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. You know what? That's my bad. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm over here trying to make something make sense. So let's get into it. If you are over here on YouTube, on Instagram, you're missing the show. Come on over here to YouTube Amanda Seals TV because I'm about to start talking about the news. And you're going to miss the graphics. It's time for some Blaccurate news, y'all. Blaccurate news. Politics. Blaccurate news. Pop. Culture. Blaccurate news. Sports. Blaccurate news. Justice. All right, so today's Blaccurate News is brought to you by my podcast, Small Doses, Potent Truths for Everyday Use. This week's episode is Side Effects of Loving Corrections with Adrienne Marie Brown.
Really want to love someone, you have to learn to love the things that could annoy you and like see them as like loving acts. There's like sticky honey on the side of the jar. And Sean Godari talks about that. She's like, and I can just be like, my love just leaves that. That's how I know I'm with someone else. Like I was just by myself, my honey would be all in the jar.
All in the jar.
I'm loving somebody, some of that honey is outside the jar. And I was like,
oh wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Right? So there's these ways of holding it. And now I feel that flowing through my life and who I choose to let close to me, who I spend time with, who I invest in enough to give correction or give this kind of attention to, is I'm like, oh, I'm no longer in friendships or relationships where I'm like, we keep cycling the same thing over and over again. And like, neither of us can course correct each other to get out of this loop. We're just in it. So I'm like, I don't do that. I don't keep circling. I'm like, it's time. I'm going to go over this way now.
Make sure you go and check out the latest episode of Small Doses Podcast, Side Effects of Loving Corrections, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so you and I and all of us know that it has been a long weekend of a lot of things happening in terms of Israel, in terms of Iran, etc. And so we are going to get to that. But first and foremost, I would really like us to talk about what's going on in the mayoral election here in New York City. And I think it's really important to show how you have certain individuals that are affecting how this goes that ain't even a part of it, which we always know is the case. But Al Sharpton is one of them. And I want to do a segment on why we should not trust Al Sharpton. So first of all, let's point out the fact that Al Sharpton is the same man who I want to say was as recent as even last year, went on a tour to promote protecting menthol cigarettes from being banned. Do you remember that? Remember when Joe Biden was going to ban menthol cigarettes? Al Sharpton made it his business to go on out there and campaign for the preserving of menthol cigarettes. Okay? So we're going to address that. This is also the same man who at the National Action Network, which is his little situation, he had Hakeem Jeffries there, who we know is a known AIPAC Zionist supporter. And Hakeem Jeffries was challenged by some protesters, including the brilliant Eugene Puryear. And they were carried out very strongly and against their will, of course, by security that was sicked on them. Now, I didn't know this, but the National Action Network had actually made a video in response to my having issues with that, in which they basically said, like, well, we invited you and you didn't come. Why am I coming to situation. Why do I want to come and hang out with y'all? I don't believe in the whole, well, I need to be a present voice. Not in that. I believe that about Instagram. I don't believe that about coming to y'all scenario so that you can make money off of my presence being there. You got me fucked up. Ooh, niggas got me fucked up. Not today. Not the one. No. I don't want to come to y'all little party. And I would much rather be by myself than be in community with a bunch of black people that are not in community with the world. Y'all can have that. I don't want it. So, that same man, Al Sharpton, is campaigning for Andrew Cuomo. Which, surprise, surprise, right? Like, obviously, he is a Democrat, and Andrew Cuomo is being touted as the best option for Democrats. Also because Andrew Cuomo is a Zionist. Zohran Mamdani is a very large very largely, outwardly, verbally anti-Zionist. He was asked on a show recently, do you believe in Israel's right to exist? And he said, no, I do not believe in the right of any ethno-state to exist. I believe that anywhere that has different sets of rules for people based on their religion or their ethnicity should not be able to function. And there we have it. So let's talk about this scenario with Cuomo and Sharpton and Zohran. Now, I had the great Linda Sarsour on my Instagram Live this weekend to explain it to us. So I'm going to sum it up for y'all real quick. Now, when there is a ranking, so they have like rankings in New York where they will rank voting. And so you have to get through different phases. Okay? You got to get through different phases of the process to mayor. You have to make it through. And there's certain benchmarks you have to hit. So one of the benchmarks you have to hit is about fundraising. And there's also a limit to how much fundraising you can get. So Zohran Mamdani had reached his limit of fundraising. He had fundraised literally to the limit. But there were still a couple more days for it to be allowed. And instead of him just sitting back on his laurels, which he very well had every right to, he instead supported Adrienne. What's her name? I think her name is Adrienne Simmons. She's somebody who has absolutely no, is her name Adrienne Adams? Is she running for mayor? Yeah, Adrienne Adams. I'm not going to put her picture up because she's a low quality black. So Adrienne Adams, who is also running for mayor, who has no chance of winning, by the way, okay? No chance of winning. She then was helped by Mamdani in raising money. So Mamdani did a video with Adrienne Adams to get her over her fundraising. And so she literally was able to get to her fundraising level with the help of Zohran Mamdani. Now, then we get to ranking. This is when, as a mayoral candidate, you can endorse somebody else. Adrienne did not endorse Mamdani. When they asked her at the mayoral debate, where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world? It was something like that, right? It was kind of like, after the end of the football games, and they're like, where are you going to go now that you won the Super Bowl? And she was like, well, I'm going to go to the Holy Land. And everyone else said they're going to Israel. And Zoran was like, I'm going to go to Brooklyn. He was like, I'm in New York. I'm not going nowhere. Now, she did not rank Zoran. However, Al Sharpton rolled up in front of a bunch of black folks at the Justice Center with Cuomo at his side and said to them that Zoran Mamdani failed to rank Adrienne Adams, a black woman. He positioned this failure to do so as an outward act of basically duplicity on Mamdani's part. He positioned it as an example of Mamdani basically forfeiting or being duplicitous by not supporting the black woman. So Nan Garvey is here to stand up for Adrienne Adams, and she says she's not low quality due to one response. Well, Adrienne Adams, if you ask somebody, if you ask a white person, where would you go if you could go anywhere in the world? And they say, if you ask a white person, where would you have your wedding if you could have it anywhere in the world? And they say a plantation. Are they still a high quality white? Asking for a friend. I'm the friend. You see, you all still want to have like gray areas for supporting Zionism. And I do not. There is no gray area for supporting Zionism because there is no gray area for supporting racism. You know, like when Touré asked Robert Kelly, do you go after young women? And he says, well, I go after, you know, I do talk to 19-year-olds. No, that's what Tory asked him. He was like, do you date teenagers? And he was like, well, I do date 19-year-olds. Is he still a high quality person? Miss me, please. Miss me with the allowances that you have made for yourself. Miss me with the spaces that you have created for black people to inhabit. Because for some reason you have decided that because we are a stolen people and because we are also in our own genocide, that we are somehow given a pass to support another. Get the hell out of here. Literally get out of here. Because you can block her. No. But again, I didn't even state that she's a low quality black for that. She's a low quality black because this person used his platform to raise her money and she did not endorse him because people in her campaign said it wouldn't be good to align herself with Zoran Mamdani because he is anti-Zionist, because he is a democratic socialist. You're low quality because your politics and your character are one and the same. And the effort at which you all try to separate the two is a foolhardy one. There's no excuse for that. And when Zoran ended up endorsing one of the white candidates, and now Al Sharpton comes to weaponize his blackness to lie, okay? When you're weaponizing your blackness for the effort of upholding, this person has several accusations of sexual assault. This person, this is what Mamdani even said, this person literally got filed paperwork to get the gynecological records of the women who accused him of sexual harassment. person lied about individuals that were losing their lives in nursing homes during COVID. This person literally had to resign based on their merits being called to question. That's who Al Sharpton is endorsing? And that's who Al Sharpton is using his blackness to lie in favor of? Miss me with that. Miss me with that. Andrew Cuomo should not even be allowed to run for mayor, let alone be endorsed. Furthermore, have slander thrown at another candidate in a dubious fashion that is not accurate. And then this sister, if she don't come out here and say that's inaccurate, then she is with it too. And that also makes her a lo-fi black. Just because y'all out there have very loose and flexible standards to how you view character, how you view morality, how you view ethics, that ain't over here. That's not over here. We rigid over here. People make mistakes, right? People make mistakes. People make choices. Some things are irredeemable. Some people have no principles. And also some stuff is just not explainable. Like there's certain things that people do that you can explain because you're like, I understand why they would do that. Because of fear. I understand why they would do that because of ostracization. Like, but there's other things where you're just like, no, you did that because you want power. That's it. That's the only reason you did that. So over here at Views from AmandaLand, the AmandaLanders are people of principle. We also are people of redemption and atonement. And we understand the necessity of both of those things. But we are not folks who are going to sit here and let people slide, particularly who are pursuing public office. And I think that's a very important part of this that we need to acknowledge. The person that the people that we're talking about are pursuing public office to be representatives of us, the people. So if they are doing that, and before they even get into office, they're being loud about their ways, then why would I allow that to be okay? And let me also remind you, you have other people who say Amanda Seales is idealistic because, you know, she is wanting our government to operate differently and she's expecting it to operate differently. Well, tell me this, when does it operate differently if we don't make demands of it to do so? I just want to know that. Because I feel like that is a cop-out for not even the government, but that's a cop-out for you to actually hold some standards. Because it's the same way I see people say, well, they just get in a bag as an excuse for literally any action. People will excuse anything for their just getting their bag. This person sold their children. Well, they just get in a bag. Well, let's, come on. So I make demands of the world that I hold myself to and that represent a world I want to live in, knowing full well I won't even get to live in it. But the louder that I make that demand, the more likely it is to reverberate. And if you don't know, a reverberation is an echo. It is a repetition. It is a repetition. And I say these things and I commit to them and I repeat them and I am redundant because the more you repeat it, the more people will hear it, the more effective it has at remaining in the atmosphere and at then also being echoed by others. Got it? That's our Black Accurate News. If you're in New York, do not rank Cuomo. And I don't endorse candidates, but I'll definitely tell you who not to vote for. Which is why when people are telling me that I said don't vote for Kamala, I'm like, no. Because I never said that because I didn't say that. I said don't vote for Trump. I absolutely said that. Do not vote for Donald Trump. I said that loud and I said that clear. I said that clear and I said that loud. And then people are like, you're gaslighting us. No, you're gaslighting me. You're trying to tell me I did something I didn't do. I didn't tell you not to vote for Kamala. So if you want to say, well, you influence people not to vote for Kamala, that's also not my control. If me sharing information about somebody that is honest and true information has influence on people, then that is so be it that. So basically what you're saying is don't share honest, true information because you might influence people to make a decision of their own. Man. AmandaLand. 60-second headline. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
Sorry. I had to get into the next segment. Again, all you people watching on YouTube, on Instagram, because you are not watching on YouTube, you are not hearing the show in its full dopeness. And yes, Psalms 91 Customs. All I did was encourage people to think for themselves and demand more from Kamala. That is what I did. And people feel like you telling them to think for themselves is a diss, for the record. I just want you to know that. There are some people who feel like you saying think for yourself is you being disrespectful or you being mean or you being deflective, etc. So we're in a world of opinions. A world of opinions. I mean, they said the same thing to Mark Lamont Hill, but they always going to come for black women more than they come for black men. Black people will come for black women more than they come for black men. That's just kind of what it is. So shall we get into our 60-second headlines? Our first story, Izzy, is in its FAFO season. So unless you have been living your best life somewhere and not paying attention to the news, do you? This weekend, Iran responded to Israel's flagration let me just take a moment to address this. So now we don't have Kamala. Palestine is in worse shape, and now this country's on fire. So whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Is that the fault of Kamala and her team for refusing to take any measures to expand their campaign and actually include their constituency? Is it the fault of the individuals like yourself who felt like the best effort is to ignore all of those people, to silence intellectuals like me, and to simply just force and shame people to vote for a candidate blindly? Or is it the fault of those like myself who felt that the most effective way to possibly get a win is to engage people who actually fight, not people who simply donate? Because that's what I think a lot of you all are missing here. You don't even know the full scope of who exists here. So you can't even properly argue your point. How many of you have trans friends? How many of you have Palestinian friends? How many of you have even Arab friends? How many of you have working class friends? How many of you are in a union? How many of you have voted in every election? How many of you organize? How many of you have protested? How many of you boycott? I don't think anybody who feels this way, of like this person, said yes to all of those. You know who did? Amanda Seales. If you thought that just donating money to this campaign was going to win it, that was very foolhardy of you. because there is no proof or indication that these campaigns are using your money in an effective way. However, there is proof and indication that over the last several elections, they have all been on a federal level, funny style in some form or fashion, in a way that should make you question, how is this actually operating? And in you questioning how it's operating, you should be questioning those who are in power. So you can sit here and say, we don't have Kamala, Palestine is in worse shape and the country is on fire. But I want to remind you of a few things. One, Kamala ran on a policy platform that said, I will be harder on immigration than Donald Trump. And two, Kamala said very clearly, I support Israel and its right to defend itself. And I will also add to this that Kamala wasn't even in control of her campaign. It was a bunch of white Democrats who, after the campaign, went and had a retreat and then released the notes from the retreat. And in those notes said very clearly that they feel like the problem with the Democratic Party is that they are paying too much attention to small donors and that it's also too leftist. The same party that suggested and had her going out and campaigning with Liz freaking Cheney. So if you're going to make these types of statements, I want you to be prepared to be embarrassed in your ignorance. Let's talk about it. So Iran said, Israel, you basically have been pushing us and now we're just going to do what we got to do. And I don't want to ignore the fact that Iran's power structure and the people in power in Iran are highly problematic. Okay? I don't want to disregard that. They have been doing very foul things to their own people. So let's make sure that we keep that top of mind and we put a pin in that. I also want to point out that Iran had a Shah. I mean, they had a monarchy. It was destabilized by the United States of a CIA coup operation. So Iran got here based on the meddling of the United States. So I want to make that clear as well. I want to point out also that when it comes to the possession and the proliferation of nuclear weapons, Israel has nuclear weapons. Everybody know that. By the way, everybody know that Israel got nuclear weapons. You know who else got nuclear weapons? America. The United States has nuclear weapons. Apparently, so does Pakistan. The proliferation of uranium, the mining of it, is in existence all over this world. It's just that there is a very particular people of power who believe that they should only have the right to that power. So let's make sure we keep that top of mind. So here we are now, where there's just been this false flag presented that somehow Iran failed to comply with something that now gave Israel the right to defend itself from a non-attack. So I want to also be very loud about the reality that this was a completely offensive act on the part of Israel. They were not in any way goaded. Okay? So let's make that clear. Israel also, like Iron Camellia points out, has nukes and does not allow the Nuclear Regulation Agency to monitor them. And apparently that's fine. So to then state that their reasoning or the legitimacy of their firing on Iran is because Iran had failed some type of test or some type of, they failed some type of agency, they missed some type of agency meeting, whatever, we all know is BS. Okay? So now, we have seen this forever. Yes, Nellaroni87. We have been hearing that Iran is, 2.5 seconds from creating a nuclear weapon since I was like 7. This has been like, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the Nightly News, we'll be talking about O.J. Simpson, and we will also be discussing Milli Vanilli. Are they really singing or not? And first, we'll get into tonight's story. Yes, Iran is 2 minutes away on your favorite Swatch watch from creating a nuclear weapon. This been going on. These are lies. These are straight up lies, fabrications created to continue the proliferation of imperial expansion. And I know you might be like, because I'd be like, Amanda, well, what are we going to do about it? Well, at the very least, we can know about it. At the very least, we can know about it. Let me also say that Iran, yes, Vanessa, Iran was negotiating with the U.S. And Iran was negotiating. And then when Israel did a preemptive strike, they literally they unalived the negotiator. They unalived the negotiator. Then they had the nerve. I saw an interview with the Israeli spokesperson, or she's the Israeli UK. I think she's the Israeli UK ambassador, who said, well, the people who were living in that residential building that died, I mean, if you live in a building with somebody who is a part of this regime, then that's your fault. Melissa said, Pouton. So now Israel is getting hit. I want to remind you that Israel has bomb shelters everywhere. And I want to show you some of the aftermath of what's going on, because I think it's important for you to see what happens when the boomerang come back.
So what did you say? So they're not letting journalists in?
No, the tender is placed. So
Okay. Well, thank you very much for bringing this.
So this is the. Do you want me to explain it to you?
Yes, that'd be great.
Right. This is where the missile direct impact
Yes.
at this building. All 4 stories collapsed.
Wow.
And if you turn to the left, those are not parking. Those are living apartments.
Yeah.
Which were blasted from the shockwaves and completely destroyed. The building is completely destroyed. If you see the car, this is not a charge. Those are fragments from the blast. Stones and whatever. It just penetrated the entire thing.
Wow. And so this was flipped over entirely, this car?
Yeah. And if you see here.
Oh, yeah. I've just seen they're on top of each other.
Yeah. That's the shockwave.
Oh, my gosh. So explain to me the shockwave. So the missile hits.
Yeah. And then it broke the building.
Yeah.
And the shockwave goes 360 degrees.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Like a spear.
Wow.
And then it crushed everything. If you see the building in front of you, it doesn't have any windows.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course, people cannot leave Gaza. Are they able to leave Israel?
No, they're not. Actually, the Israeli government, other than airports being closed, the Israeli government issued a specific instruction today saying that assuming Israeli airlines or other airlines were going to return Israelis stranded abroad in a week or so, or try and return them, they were forbidden from carrying Israelis outside the country. So Israelis can't leave Israel. I think they can leave by sea, but the competition for places on yachts and other boats has now driven the prices to exorbitant heights.
Why does it have to happen to us always? Why is it always the Jewish people? We didn't do anything. Like, it wasn't us. Like, we really didn't do anything.
Critics of the Jewish state would say you guys started this war by attacking Iran.
No, just anyone.
About 48 hours ago.
Anyone who's watching.
No. We did not start. No. The Jewish people, Israel doesn't want to ever do a war. The entire world is really against Iran. I don't think anybody wants them to have nuclear weapons. So Israel's doing the job, and then Israel gets all the damage after it.
I'm so serious. So Melissa said, but they're showing up at Paris airport. So let me tell y'all, do you know how nuts it is that they're closing the borders and not allowing people to leave? Yes, let me point this out, Diana. That's such a huge propaganda point, using Jewish people and Israel interchangeably. And then when you do the same, they call you anti-Semitic. Like, no. The reality is that if you are a Jewish person who interchanges between Jewish and Zionist, you are anti-Semitic. Now, we have to add on top of this the revelation that Israel has an entire military bunker beneath the hospital. What have we heard about for the duration of the last year and change of this elevation of genocide in Gaza? We have heard accusations that they have to bomb hospitals because they have military bases beneath them. They have yet to find one in Palestine, yet they have a whole very sophisticated one. And I'm just naming one because that's the only one I saw in Israel. We also have been hearing this notion of, they are using their citizens. They're using their citizens as human shields. That's why we have to kill everybody, because Hamas is living amongst the citizens. Y'all, the Israeli Pentagon is located in a residential neighborhood. They're literally firing anti-rockets. So they have like rockets that they'll fire that are supposed to go in the air to shut down any of the rockets that are coming to hit them. Those are literally located in residential neighborhoods. People wanted to talk about the kibbutzes and, the kibbutzes were so, peaceful. The kibbutzes were so peaceful. And these were people that were just wanting to live amongst themselves and live amongst each other. But the reality is that the kibbutzes were located on land that was adjacent to Gaza, a concentration camp. Oh, the festival, they were just going to have fun. Can you imagine going to a music festival outside of Auschwitz? What kind of sick person are you? I'm not saying that means you deserve to die, but I'm definitely looking at you sideways. We also know full well that Israel deployed the Hannibal Directive, which is that they can unalive their own citizens for the good of their country. They've done that with hostages. They did that with innocent people innocent is a strong word. They did that with non-military personnel on October 7th. And subsequently after that. So the concept of Israel as some victim is simply a complete fallacy. There is no way to acknowledge that it is. There's nothing representational of it. We've seen copious amounts of videos where they're indoctrinating children from as young as 3 and 4 years old to hate Palestinians, to hate Arabs, to want to see them die. We've seen them stand with their children at a lookout over what is happening in Gaza and pray for it to continue. In the last 24 hours, in the last 48 hours, they've killed more people in Gaza than they have in Iran and Iraq in Iran and Israel combined. Because currently Gaza is plunged into darkness. They do not have Wi-Fi. They're having to use eSIMs that don't allow them to upload at the same rate. They're literally luring people to food aid sites and then taking them out. When I'm talking about these things, this is not about a political standpoint. And for everybody who says this has nothing to do with me, I don't know what to say about that at this point. I really don't. I don't have anything to say about that. I don't even know why I brought it up. So this is incredibly dire. And who knows how far this is going to go, because Iran is like, well, we're not backing down. I was very relieved to see that Bisan is still alive. And I shared a story in my Instagram of a man who was talking about how he would visit his family in summers at the kibbutz. You know, and they would be there right next to the concentration camp. And I want you to also know that a kibbutz may on the outside seem like, oh, this is just, you know, co-op living. It's like a farm. No, they also have the security protection of IDF soldiers. This is a settlement. This is a settlement. So I've seen Yemen, of course, say that they're going to help. I saw China flew some stuff to help. I guess it was artillery, flew in to Tehran. But then you have like Saudi Arabia and Jordan are assisting Israel. You have Egypt over there beating up folks for walking to try to break the Rafah border. Literally. I just want to make sure that we all keep this top of mind and understand what it means to be in support of this. It's not simply about being in support of Palestine. It's about challenging apartheid systems, about challenging colonialism. And if you really do care about that, and you really do understand the ways in which it is harmful, and you really do align yourself with being against that, you can't simply just be against it when it's happening to you. So Israel is in its FAFO season. I don't know how long this season is going to last. What I do know is that it is imperative that we continue to center the people of Palestine and Gaza and the West Bank, because they are leading a siege in the West Bank right now. And I absolutely believe that what we are witnessing is one of the biggest distractions ever in order to carry out a final solution that seeks to take the lives of everyone in Gaza, as well as expanding the Israeli borders to the West Bank. That is what I believe is taking place, and that when the dust settles, that's what we're going to be left with. Next up, let's talk about the Malaysia Freedom Flotilla. The Malaysia Freedom Flotilla is it's the offspring of the Madeleine. Now you had, people like, I don't need, calling Pierce Morgan people feels like such a generous classification. It really does. It feels so generous because I'm just like, are you really people? Are you? So, Pierce Morgan was going on about how, this was just like them trying to do something. Basically, he was saying that the Freedom Flotilla was clout chasing. That was essentially what he was saying. Now, for those who are just joining us, the Freedom Flotilla was a group of 12 individuals of humanitarian folks, including Greta Thunberg, who is a very well-known little white girl. And they all got on this boat to travel to Gaza in order to help break the siege. They did have supplies on board. Of course, it wasn't going to be enough to actually, break the siege in a legitimate way, but it was the symbolism of the fact. They got there. They were, of course, boarded by Israelis. They were taken into custody, and now the last 3 have been released. So all have been released and returned home. In response to this, though, Tiago, who is one of the members of the flotilla, I think he was actually the captain, he was like, listen, we knew that this was going to end, funny style. However, it was imperative that we do this because we want to be one boat that leads to several boats. This needs to be happening in large numbers. And so that's what we are witnessing now with Malaysia's Freedom Flotilla. During a press conference in Kuala Lumpur by Azmi Abdul Hamid, head of the Malaysian Consultative Council of Islamic Organizations, that's the MAPIM, the campaign, known as the 1,000-Ship Flotilla, aims to dispatch vessels from multiple continents in a coordinated effort to deliver humanitarian aid and pressure Israel to end its siege. According to Abdul Hamid, coordination is already underway with civil society groups in Europe, Asia, and Latin America, and the flotilla idea has received unprecedented support. Unprecedented support. They've also announced plans to launch an international secretariat and financial fund to coordinate. Can someone look up secretariat? I want to make sure I'm referring to that properly. To coordinate logistics, vessel procurement, and outreach. The council appealed to individuals, humanitarian groups, and companies to contribute technical and material support. Now, let me tell you, if you've seen the film Dunkirk, which is about a particular happening during World War II, then, is it World War II? Yes, World War II. Then I feel like you can imagine what this could look like. So the story of Dunkirk is that basically there were these 2 ships that ended up getting bombarded by the Germans during World War II, but then they were so bombarded that they could not make their way home. They were literally just stuck there as sitting ducks, and they did not have a way to get the wounded off the boats. There was no way that they were going to be able to get to safety. And Dunkirk was a little town that said, you know what? We got our little boats out here. And it was also made up of a lot of folks that had been in World War I that felt like, I'm too old to fight in this war, but I really do feel like I got to fight in this war. And they said, you know what, we're going to go out there and we're going to actually help them. So you had all these little personally owned boats that set forth to then go rescue the soldiers off of these 2 boats. Okay. And I can't remember if it was World War I or World War II. Was it World War I? They all run together to me, to be quite honest. It was World War II. Yes. Okay. Yes. British and French soldiers were trapped on small land and were bombarded by German aircraft. Civilians. Okay. So I was right. Civilians took the risk and went to rescue the soldiers. A secretariat, thank you, Celine, is the administrative body or department responsible for handling the day-to-day operations, record keeping, and overall administrative tasks of an organization, particularly in governmental bodies. Okay, there we go. By the way, you all, I'm going to be talking about LA and what's coming up next with ICE and the deportations after this story, so stick around for that. Now, I think that this is really excellent, and I hope that it actually happens. And I hope that people do not get in the way. Sometimes when we have these very grand, necessary ideas, we get ego in the way. We get ego in the way, and it really says to me that you weren't really for this in the first place. So let's not let that happen. This is going to require incredible cooperation and Google Translate. So hopefully they'll use some other translate that is not some other translate that is effective, but that is not a part of the Donald Trump empire and regime, because they will absolutely use the Patriot Act to share their Google translations and get in the way. Now, there's a lot going on in the United States. So we done been to Iran. We done been to Israel. We've talked about Palestine. We just popped over to Malaysia. Let's come right back around to this shit show. The next phase of Gree. The next phase of Gree. So we have been seeing the protests going on in Los Angeles, and one of the important things that we always have to do is we have to call out when we are seeing mis and disinformation. So let's actually start with the mis and disinformation that we have been seeing around Trump's little parade / 250th anniversary of the military. Let's take a look at that first. This was on Fox News.
Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you to Vice President Vance. And thank you to our wonderful First Lady. And above all, thank you to Vice President Vance, and thank you to our wonderful First.
Y'all, they used canned applause to make it seem like it was popping, and it was not popping. This is what it actually was. A mess. A mess is what it actually was. So we know example number 511 that they 1000% use media to misrepresent truths. Shout to Eliana Chinea, who is a journalist that, unlike the other journalists who just kind of pop in and pop out, is actually with the people on the ground in LA.
APD has been escalating their tactics every single day. I've been going out since Sunday. It was so peaceful today that I went and got an iced tea. The most amount of violence I saw, if you can even call it that, was just people yelling at the National Guard.
We are right in front of the federal building at the steps. There are thousands that have gathered here. They're basically booing the National Guard, which is right up here, right next to me. The National Guard has changed shifts, and every time that they change a shift, they start booing.
And then all of a sudden, they started rolling up on horses.
If you're not moving faster than push-ups, do not touch me! I'm fucking walking, don't touch me! You're gonna get trampled, I'm telling you right now. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What the Oh, what the hell? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, so I'm going to stop this because we actually have Dr. Mohammed, who is in Gaza, Mohammed Anwar. And Mohammed, in order for you to come on here live, I have to send you a link. And I don't know if the internet is going to give you what you need, but I'm going to DM it to you on Instagram right now, and you can use this link to join me live. So let me do that. Give me 1 second. I'll let this play while I'm doing that.
Could have killed her.
Everyone is extremely upset. They're putting on their riot gear and their gas masks. So everybody's dispersing. It's only 4 o'clock. Curfew isn't set until 8 p.m. Watch out, don't trample. You can see the smoke behind me. Y'all. They just started trampling people, throwing rubber bullets into the crowd. And all of LA and Temple is smoking. Where did they tell y'all to go?
They're trying to cuddle us in.
So they've cuddled everybody in. There's nowhere to go.
Now, I don't know if there's already been a call to action for this, but everyone needs to start calling the representatives, start calling your Congress people, start calling the senator, start calling the governor. This cannot continue to happen.
So, we know this. We know this is really happening in real time. And I really want to shout out Eliana, and hopefully I can get her on here because she's really on the ground doing the work that these fake reporters and journalists claim to be doing. And the truth is that there really is no reason why, if you're really about it, why are you leaving? Jyla, this actually is not breaking news. This actually isn't breaking news. There was a protester in Utah that was unalived, and he wasn't even who they were trying to shoot at. How about that? He wasn't even the person that they were trying to shoot. So when we're seeing what's going on, it makes us, I hope, say to ourselves, okay, this is escalating higher and higher and higher. And how can I be of assistance? So first of all, I want to let you know that I'm going to put this on the screen, and then I want you to screenshot it so that you can come back to it later. These are immigrant resources that are, and organizations to support. So take a moment and screenshot this. But the police have been given a license to kill long before this. You got the guy down in Brandon in Florida who said straight up, if you're protesting, we will kill you. We can kill you. And you're completely right, Lisa Turtle. We are, and I'll talk about this in my PSA, that we need to do more than what we are doing. And I also want to commend everyone who is doing what they are doing. And I'll speak more to that a little later. Okay, so y'all got your screenshots of this? Fabulous. So now some of us might be still asking, like, what is the end game of this? What is the goal of this? Why are they doing this? Well, here is a labor lawyer to give you some insight. Are you serious?
If you're wondering why they're going after day laborers and farm workers, it's because of this. Last week, my friend Jose told me he has to work 5 days just to make one phone call with his family. I was like, what? Jose's this classic working class dad, big muscles, big smile. He loves.
Okay, we're gonna interrupt to go on live with Dr. Mohammad Altalla. Dr. Mohammed, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So where are you?
I'm now in Gaza, at the middle area of Gaza Strip.
In the middle area of Gaza Strip. Okay.
Yeah.
So the floor is yours.
You hear me, yeah?
I can hear you perfectly, yes.
Yeah, it's now better, yeah, as there is no electricity. And now it's about 7:30 p.m. So it's the beginning of night.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. if possible, to introduce myself quickly.
Please.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Dr. Mohammad Altalla, a teaching assistant at the Faculty of Medicine here in Gaza, and also a doctor in the surgical department at Al-Aqsa Hospital. This hospital based in Deir al-Balah at the middle area of Gaza. This is one of the last three functioning hospital in all Gaza Strip. And as you know, the situation is worse and worse. And just a moment before I get in this life, a huge airstrike occurred in area near me, and really no words can describe what is occurring now in Gaza, especially in the hospital. All the hospitals here are overwhelmed by victims, and also recently we have admitted cases of malnutrition from different age group, children, women, and elderly. And a lot of these cases are coming from the nutritional distribution center at the south point in Rafah and at the middle point in area called Netzarim. Every day we manage and we admit about 100 of cases, and these cases need surgical operation. And as you know, the crossing till now is closed since the 2nd of March 2025 till now, and they didn't allow till now for nutrition, for medication, for the basic medical supply to enter Gaza Strip. So we are facing now challenges, many challenges regarding the food, regarding the medication, regarding the number of beds in the hospital, as almost all hospitals are out of functioning. There are three main functioning hospitals. One at north of Gaza, it's called Al-Shifa Hospital. I think you heard about it. And this hospital didn't work by its whole capacity, as it's damaged in 2024. And they are working with, I think, 200 or 150 beds. And the other hospital that I'm working on it at the middle area in Deir al-Balah, Al-Aqsa Hospital, with a capacity of 300 bed. And the last one, Nasser Complex Hospital. This Nasser Hospital now in evacuated, in Khan Yunis, in displaced area. They announced 1 week ago to the people at that area to evacuate and displace from this area to area called Al Mawasi. And the only building that is allow for the people to come in and out is the Nasser Complex Hospital. And the movement at that hospital is so dangerous. Any movement to or out from the hospital need a coordination with the military army. Any movement. And also there is a small hospital called Al Amal Hospital, which is under the umbrella of the Palestinian Red Crescent Society. And this hospital is also like Nasser Complex Hospital. Any movement from and out this hospital need coordination with the Israeli army. So it looked like two main functioning hospital, or three, if we can measure Nasser Hospital is functioning. And there is like a three field hospital related to non-governmental hospital. So till now, the hospital is overwhelmed. The patients are lying at the floor of the hospital. There is no bed. They are admitted in the corridor of the hospital, and a lot of cases are died because there's a shortage of basic medical supply. We are doing our best to save life as much as we can, but we we reach a point that we cannot do anything for these victims, for patients, for children to save their life because, as I mentioned before, there is a shortage in the basic medical supply and basic medical equipment. Till now, you heard me, yeah?
Yes, we're listening.
Yeah, till now they didn't allow for any of these medical supply to be in and to enter Gaza Strip. And also the food is the same. Till now, for more than 3 months, they didn't allow for anything to be enter Gaza. So a lot of cases are diagnosed as malnutrition, and we try to manage them, but a lot of cases pass away. So uh, till now, I can describe what I'm facing in the hospital and in Gaza Strip. But in reality and honestly, no words can describe what is occurring. I have a shift in the hospital for more than 48 hours. And when I come back from the hospital, I come back by walking. And I walk for more than 2 hours to the hospital and 2 hours come back from the hospital. And through the walking in unsafe roads, in quadcopter above you in the sky, and the drones above you in the sky. So, and you may be killed at any time. Since the 7th of October 2023, I survived many times from near airstrikes, and two of my brother were injured in airstrike near our home. And at that time, I was working at the emergency department in Aqsa Hospital, and I was shocked that two of my brothers were victims, and they are in between the injured people. So I was shocked at that time, but uh, they are well now. But yeah, every day after I come back from the work, and I cannot handle my feeling, my heart broken, and I try to have a space with myself to express my feeling personally. Sometimes I cannot handle my tear, and I try to cope with the situation now, but these days are really the worst days since the 2023.
Is it I don't even know what to ask because quite honestly, I feel like so many of us who are watching what's going on, we are blessed to even be able to hear from you directly. There is so much effort for the world to silence your experience and your story. So thank you for being so open with us and sharing with us what is taking place and what you're experiencing, not only just in the work that you're doing, but in your feelings. And I'm really glad that we can be at least a place for you to express yourself in that way, because, you know, what you're doing is, it's one thing to be just surviving. It's another thing to also be saving as well as surviving yourself at the same time. I hope I just want you to know that you are alone in your suffering in Palestine, but you are not alone in the love that we have for Palestinians. And people like you who are risking your life, not only to save your people, but also to share with us, you are living long after the work that you're doing by imprinting your stories and by really exposing the hatred that they have managed to keep quiet for so long to the rest of the world. And this gives the rest of the world an opportunity to show up in ways that we unfortunately have not for Palestinians. We know that there are other people in the world who are experiencing harm, who are experiencing hurt, who are experiencing, exploitation. What is special about the experience of the Palestinians in this particular moment is that you all are the voice of those people. You're not just the voice of Palestinian people. You're not just the voice of the doctors. You're the voice of all of those in the world who are suffering at the hands of Israel, of the United States, and of these other powerful white people, basically. And so I thank you. I thank you for that. I thank you for opening our eyes. And I don't want to, there's so many of us who are like, we wish we could do more, and we do. We do wish we could do more. And sometimes I feel like the only thing that can be done is to remind somebody that they are seen. And we see you. We see you, and I hope for your safety, and I hope that you, like the rest of us, get to see a free Palestine very soon. And we are watching what's going on in Tel Aviv right now. And all most of us say to ourselves is, well, what do you expect? So we know that Allah is always fair and righteous. And even if we are not seeing it with our eyes, we feel it in our hearts. And I genuinely want to thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you want us who are watching from the safety of our own homes? Is there anything that you feel like we can be doing that you want us to know about?
Yeah, at first I would like to thank you because I follow you from the beginning, and I appreciate all your efforts, and I see your lives many times, and really I appreciate your support for Palestinian through this genocide. And really I would like to tell you that I'm proud of you. With your support give us a hope, and we feel you, and we feel that you are standing with us. And this is what make us strong, and what give us the energy to continue. I think people in worldwide get the energy from food, from relationship, but as you know, here there is no food, but we get energy from your standing, from your support, from your effort. Really, I appreciate all of this, and I'm really proud of you. You are our eyes, and you are our speech in the worldwide, and you send the message, and you help us to send our voice and to raise our voice in the world. And now I think all the people and all the population know more about Gaza, because really we are a human, we are not a number. Until now there is more than 60 or 70,000 people are killed. Every one of them have a story, and had a family, had his own dreams. They killed, and no one mentioned that. No one mentioned their story. I don't know if you can feel what I should say, but words cannot come out from my heart, because I think we got enough. We got enough. I think you heard the plane sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we cannot sleep. Yeah, we cannot sleep for 1 hour safely. At every hour there is airstrike, and the sounds of airstrike, even if the airstrike is far from you, the sound will affect you. Everything will affect you. We are not a number. Personally, I'm a teaching assistant and a doctor, and I have my dreams to take and to start my specialty and to continue my specialty in surgery. And I have a plan to travel abroad and to have a master degree at first, and then to continue my specialty.
What
But
type
the
of
crossing,
specialty? What's your specialty?
general surgery. I'm now volunteering general surgery for more than two years. So I have a good experience in general
Yes.
surgery, and also I'm a teaching assistant for general surgery. To know, during the war, as we have a shortage in medical staff, I resumed the training program for the medical student in May 2024, and we have a graduate in December 2024 in Al Azhar University. And these graduate doctors help us nowadays as there is a shortage in medical staff. And also there is a few mission of international doctor and can come and help us here in Gaza, but this is not enough
Yeah.
as there is no and a shortage in medical staff. So these graduate help us and support us in the hospital. So we try to do our best. And personally, I till now I have a dream and I have my own story, and I hope this genocide will end soon, and then I can resuming my plan and my dream as last year to know last year I have unconditional offer for a master degree in my dream specialty as there is a shortage in academic doctors, so I take a plan to have a master at first, then to resume my specialty in surgery. So I have a conditional offer for a master degree in United Kingdom University,
Okay.
and because the crossing is closed and I missed a great full scholarship for this master degree. So again, I reapply again because I have a hope may this genocide end before September 2025, so I can start my master degree again in UK again, but I miss full scholarship in 2024. But I have a hope this genocide will may be ended soon. So after that, the crossing may reopen and I can travel and start my dream because these 2 years look like not 2 years, look like 20 years.
Yes.
We have fear, hunger, suffering to get water, suffering to get food. Uh, the last one today, before 3 hour, I went to with my family, with my dad. I went to get a water, 20 minutes far from here, and when I reached the place that I can get water from it, a huge airstrike come in near us, and there is a shrapnel in the air, and this shrapnel come to the bag that I fill the water from it. So I survive again, and I said thanks God again because this survive this helped me and this saved my life. So everyone here have his own dreams, have his own story, have a family, have have a right, have a right to live. This is the basic thing I think everyone should have. Children here are suffering. Elderly, women, pregnant, all age group, all member of the society are suffering. I don't know what to say,
No,
but
you've said so much, and I want to thank you for telling us how we can best be supportive, even if it's on a spiritual level, and sending our energy not only to you, but also using our voices to do exactly what you said, which is to acknowledge that Palestinians are people and not just numbers. They're not even saying the correct numbers. So it is imperative that we, do our due diligence to continue to speak your stories. Which university in UK were you accepted to?
This year I have 5 unconditional offer. The first one from Sheffield University, and the second one from University of East Anglia, and the third one Essex University. So I have 5 unconditional offer in 2 subspecialty master degree in 3 different university. But till now, as I mentioned before, I missed scholarship last year because the crossing are closed, and I don't miss the hope. I reapply again, and
Yes.
I have unconditional offer, and I'm waiting the crossing to
Yes.
reopen so I can travel. Uh, and the fund, I think the God will help me uh, and
Well,
help me to
we will stay in
yeah,
touch because people here want to be able to help in
yeah,
bringing you to the UK when that time comes. And,
yeah. And
I pray that that time does come and that we do get to see you
thank you.
continue to
I would
pursue.
like to mention that in 2022, I was in UK. I have a course in vascular surgery
Mm-hmm.
uh, in Queen Elizabeth Hospital at Birmingham City,
Mm-hmm.
and this course was for 1 month. And I would like to mention that I used this experience as the vascular surgery is the most needed specialty here in Gaza. As you know, vascular injury are common in war and in victims in wars. And here in Gaza, we don't have a vascular surgeon. So thanks God, I used this
Yes.
experience to save a life, many lives in this war by my vascular surgery experience when I take the UK course. And also to mention that I was a president of Palestinian Parliament in 2013, and I was in Belgium to discuss human rights regarding children. So I have been in UK, in Belgium, and also in France in 2013.
Wow.
And also I have in that trip I also visit Germany, Frankfurt City to discuss these human rights of children.
Yes.
So everyone here have a story and have a dream. So I till now I don't give up. I have a hope, and when I see you and when I see your efforts and your support, I have energy and my smile didn't disappear. Even I smile in all faces that I met in the hospital, even children. And this, I think, this is a part of management.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. And we're praying for your
thank
safety.
you, thank you. Nice to meet you,
Inshallah.
and I hope to meet soon. And I would like to thank your follower for their
Yes.
kind message. And I would like to send a message for who are protesting for Palestine and for Gaza in all countries, in US, in UK, in Europe countries, and in Arab countries. Uh, your protesting give us a hope. Keep going, and thank you again. Thank you, and we will keep in touch for more updates and for more in use. Thank you.
Are the eSIMs helpful that people are sending? Are you all able to access them?
The eSIM card.
People are, yeah, sometimes we don't know if it's a scam or if it's actually helping you all. So like we're seeing messages saying to send eSIMs to Palestinians so that you can use the internet.
Yeah. Today morning, the connection cut off from the middle and south area of Gaza, and it just come back before 3 hours. In the last few days, they cut off the internet for I think 4 days, and they return it. We try to use eSIM because this enable us to have a connection with the worldwide and
So
with
it
our
does
friends.
so it does
Yeah,
work when the internet is shut off.
yeah, it does work, but in a special area beside the beach and at the east area of Gaza Strip, because as you know, the Gaza Strip like a sector. There is the east and the west. The west at the beach of the sea, and the east beside the border of Israel country.
Yes.
So people at the east border they get a signal, and people beside the beach they get a signal for the eSIM. So
Okay.
it works in Gaza. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, Dr. Mohammed,
Thank
and
you.
I will I'll DM you
Thank
on
you.
Instagram. Sometimes I toggle back and forth between the simplicities and the complexities of what it is to be living. And the toggle happens because we see how complex just life is, the required necessities of just existence. And then in that same breath, I am reminded also how simple it is to show up for the living. How necessary it is also to remember that simplicity. And, as I was sitting here, I had to really withhold from the natural instinct that we do, which is, well, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? Which I think sometimes is really us centering ourselves, right? Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's censoring ourselves. And then sometimes people just need to be seen. Like that's why I had to unfriend people who wouldn't let me vent. Right? There's something about this human existence. And again, I don't know where we're from. I don't know where we came from. I don't know how we got here. But I do know that within our existence of being here, there's always been a necessity to be seen. Always. The cave paintings, the burial rites. There's always been a necessity to be seen. And I don't necessarily mean to be given just like attention, which is its own thing, right? I think it's also to know that your existence happened and is happening. Sometimes we're able to do that for ourselves. And often it really is work that we're doing for others. Like sometimes my mom will be talking to me on the phone and she's just talking. And I don't want to talk. But she's really exercising a need to be seen. You know, my business partner, Kathia, I'll do the same thing as my mom, and then I'll be like, thank you for letting me just do my thing. She's like, yeah, I know you needed it. So today, you know, there's also a realism that is necessary. You know, and that's the other part. It's like, I don't want to sit here and lie to this man. I don't want to sit here and there are times when it is necessary to lie. You know, like when Forrest Gump was with, you know, when Forrest Gump was with Bubba and was, you know, holding him in the fields of Vietnam, and he's like, you're going to be all right. He knew he wasn't going to be all right. But, you know, you say that because someone is, you know, they're scared. He literally said, I'm scared, Forrest. Yes. Sometimes you have to lie. But sometimes the lying is for you. And if the lying is for you, then I would say don't do it. And I realized that I was about to lie for me. And so I had to, in real time in that conversation, remind myself, like, how can I best show up for this man, for Dr. Mohammad Altalla, who, you know, exemplifies on so many levels just the strength and the power of Palestinian people and the beauty of them inside and out, because he fine. He fine. I took a picture. And I will continue to state that the fineness of Palestinians is its own resistance. For the record, it's its own resistance. It's very much like, ugh, how dare y'all try to get rid of us? Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. You just mad. So I thank y'all for being here with me. And I am so honored that we could give space to Dr. Mohammed and acknowledge his experience. And then, of course, I started crying when he acknowledged me, because I don't even think of myself in this scenario. But I'm glad we were able to do that. Fine. Every time. Every time. Every time.